Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. I have a very important video today. We're going to be talking about breastfeeding and pumping, all of my tips, tricks, and hacks that have helped me to have a successful breastfeeding experience this time around. In order to stay organized and to hopefully not miss anything, I have a list on my phone and I've broken it down into 3 categories. The first category is going to be collecting colostrum and establishing your supply. The second category is going to be dealing with the pain and discomfort. The third category is going to be pumping tips and milk storage. The sun keeps blinding me and we don't have a curtain in this room. I'm going to do the best I can. Okay, we're going to get started. I'm going to hop into it. I'm going to go as quickly as I can and try to make sure that I point out the most helpful tips. Hadley's taking a nap, so I'm really just living on borrowed time. Okay, so collecting colostrum and establishing your supply. The beginning's the hardest, guys, or at least it was in my experience. So collecting colostrum is going to be before you actually have the baby. Technically, you can start collecting at 37 weeks as long as your doctor approves. I have a whole video where I talk about my experience collecting colostrum. I'm going to link it up at the top for you if you're interested in that. But essentially, just once you hit 37 weeks with your doctor's approval, you can start expressing colostrum and freezing it to help supplement you through the first week or so when baby is born and you're trying to establish your supply. Triple feeding until your milk comes in for the first week. So the beginning is hard, ladies. It's really hard at the beginning, but the beginning, I would say, is probably the most important part of your breastfeeding journey if you're wanting to have a successful journey where you have a good supply, your baby has a good latch, everything is peachy keen, right? Triple feeding is essentially where you're putting baby on the breast, you're feeding baby on the breast, and then after you're done feeding on the breast, you are going to pump and then offer that pumped milk to baby to make sure that the baby got enough milk. I did this for just a few days at the beginning per my pediatrician's recommendation, and I really feel like that was probably one of the key players in getting my milk supply to come in nice and strong. So I would definitely recommend triple feeding if you're worried about your supply, if you've never breastfed before. Triple feeding was a really great way to help my milk kind of come in, because those first couple of months, it's just supply and demand before your body starts to regulate. And so that's going to be your opportunity to tell your body what exactly you need from it. And so the more you're pumping, the more you're latching, the more milk your body's going to produce. So I would recommend triple feeding just for like a week. Don't do that forever. It's too much. It's a lot. Okay, I was charting everything for those 4 days that I did it. It was a lot. I wouldn't do it long term. I would just do it until your milk comes in. Power pumping. So power pumping is essentially at any time of the day, you pump for a certain amount of time, you take a break for that same amount of time, and then you pump again. So a lot of people will do the 30-30-30 method, where you pump for 30 minutes, you rest for 30 minutes, and then you pump again for 30 minutes. I did some power pumping the first couple of months. This is really just going to depend on if you're wanting to like fully pump, are you wanting to exclusively nurse, are you wanting to do a combination of the two. At the beginning, I was nursing and giving her bottles of breast milk. Now I'm pretty much just exclusively nursing because it's easier for me and I hate pumping. I've grown to hate pumping because it's so much work, to be honest. But if you're really trying to establish that supply, or you're having trouble with your supply, power pumping is a way that you can kind of increase that supply, because again, it's supply and demand at the beginning. Pumping on one side and feeding on the other is also a good way to help establish your supply. I did this for the first 2 months as well. I did a lot of things for the first 2 months, and I know it seems like a lot. It is a lot. Breastfeeding is really hard. The first couple of months are really hard, and then it gets much better. But I'm trying to tell you everything that I did that helped me. Pumping on one side, feeding on the other. So get a Haka, get a hands-free pump, something like that, whatever works best for you. Feed baby on one side and then pump on the other. It worked well for me for a while. Once my supply kind of established, I was done with it. I was done. All right, guys, the star of the show is here, Miss Hadley Rose. Miss Hadley Rose. She woke up from her nap. You did? And we had a good feed and a good diaper change and lots of toots. Lots and lots of toots. And now she's gonna help me with this video. We did move because the light, as you can see here, was directly shining in my eyes. Directly shining in my eyes. So, that was actually everything for my first list, collecting colostrum and establishing your supply. Number 2 is dealing with the pain and discomfort. So everyone is going to have a different experience with this. For me, it was pretty painful, especially at the beginning. I no longer feel pain associated with breastfeeding. I don't have to wear nipple balm. I don't have to do any sort of nipple shield or anything like that, but I definitely did at the beginning, so I'm going to talk about those things. First thing, let me grab it. I've got it right here. I'm going to show you too how empty this container is. This nipple balm, it's probably not going to... This, it's almost empty. She's trying to run away from me. This saved my life. I put this on after every single feed and as needed throughout the day. I made sure to wear a nursing pad, either a disposable one or a reusable one, so that this didn't ruin my bras. But this is organic, so you don't have to worry about washing it off before doing a feed, which I appreciated. It really helped soothe everything. So definitely recommend getting this specific one. I had used other ones. Well, I had tried to use other ones with Grayson, and this is the best. This is the best. So get some sort of nipple balm, but I would recommend that one. By the way, everything that I'm going to be talking about in this video, I have linked on my Benable account. I'm new to Benable. Someone had recommended that I do it. So I've linked everything on my Benable account. Literally everything that I'm talking about today is on there. So nipple balm, a nipple shield. I had one in here, but it's probably gotten lost. A nipple shield is just a little piece of a silicone that goes over your nipple. It has holes in it, so you put it on your nipple and the baby latches on that way. And it just, for me, it helped get her to latch because we had problems with that at the beginning. And then it also just really helped with the pain because your nipples go from not having a baby on them to having a baby on them 24/7. So, I mean, it's a change, and it was painful for me. So the nipple shield for me helped with the pain, and it also helped her get a latch. I used the nipple shield for 5 weeks, I think, on one side and then 6 weeks on the other, but use them as long as you need to. There's no shame. Silverettes, or like an off-brand silver, like, I don't know what they're called, nipple cover, whatever they're called. It just is a little piece of metal, and it goes over your nipple, and it just helps protect things from rubbing up against your nipple. And trust me, there are going to be points where you're like, nothing is touching my nipple. How many times can I say nipple in this video? What are you looking at? You looking at your pretty rug? So I got the off-brand, and I think that's the one that I listed for you guys if you're wanting to look for that. Okay, on to the next. Pumping tips and milk storage. You are going to need a flange sizing kit. No matter what pump you get, you're gonna need a flange sizing kit. They're $10 on Amazon. I've linked the $10 one. You can get them on TikTok Shop too. You can get them a lot of different places. But it basically just allows you to measure your nipple and get the appropriate fit on your flange. I have no idea how to say that, pronounce that correctly. So you get the right size. And as a note, it is possible that your nipples will change size throughout your breastfeeding journey. Mine were more tender and swollen at the beginning, and now they're not as tender and swollen. So I have a little bit of a smaller size than what I did at the beginning. I think that's probably normal. But just have an awareness of the nipple size and the flange size. That's going to make a huge difference if you are pumping at all. Coconut oil. Get you some coconut oil. You need to use a lubricant when you're pumping. I had been using kind of the nipple balm that the hospital gave me as a lubricant, but I was only putting it on my nipples and not the actual pump. Put it on both. Put the lubricant, the coconut oil, on your nipple and on the flange. It's gonna help lubricate and get you a better experience and reduce some of the swelling and the pain and discomfort that comes along sometimes with pumping at the beginning. It shouldn't hurt forever. But coconut oil, I linked a very inexpensive one on Amazon. You can get it at Walmart, you can get it at any grocery store. It is the food grade coconut oil, so you don't need to clean it off before you feed baby. Pumping, start with a lower setting and work your way up if you need to. Higher suction isn't always better. So at the beginning, I was doing the highest suction. I would start with like a lower setting and then work my way up each session to the highest setting on whatever pump I was using. That's not always the best thing for you because your baby is not always going to suck that hard, and pumps are supposed to mimic the baby. So I would not recommend going from 0 to 10 or whatever the highest setting is. I would, bless you, I would start off slow. I do have a list on my Benable of all of the pumps that I would recommend. Mom Cozy is my absolute favorite pump. That's hands-free. It has the best suction. I like the parts the best. It's comfortable. And it gave me the best output out of any pump as far as a hands-free pump. But again, you're gonna probably have to do some research on pumps. I can I can probably do a whole video on pumps. If you would like me to do a whole video on pumps, I can. A lot of my pumping tips, it's just gonna depend on your personal experience and what are your goals. Are you wanting to exclusively pump? Are you wanting to exclusively nurse and then have a freezer stash just in case? Are you wanting to do combination? It's going to change probably your experience here. As far as pumping, I talked a little bit about this at the beginning, as far as establishing your supply as pumping after feeds, and then doing 1 power pump usually in the morning. But again, it just really depends on your whole experience. Milk storage. Milk is good once expressed for 4 hours at room temp, 4 days in the fridge, and then 4 months in the freezer. If you have a deep freeze, it's good for a year, as long as you freeze it properly. So making sure that there are no air bubbles in that bag, or as minimal amount of air bubbles as possible. That's going to preserve the milk the best. For my sanity also, I used the fridge method, or the fridge hack. And that's essentially where you have a hands-free pump or a wearable pump. You pump and then you put the pump without the motor in the fridge, and you can use that pump all day without having to wash it or sanitize it or anything. I never had any problems with that. There's no evidence that it's unsafe or anything like that. It really helped save my sanity. I don't know how people are sterilizing their pumps after every single use. That's a lot. I used that fridge hack and it was wonderful. Some people also use the pitcher method, where they have just one pitcher of their breast milk in the fridge and they pump and then continue to add to that one pitcher throughout the entire day. I never did the pitcher method really because I never was an exclusive pumper. I was just pumping to get a freezer stash and to build my supply. The dog barks every time we get a delivery, and I've been getting a lot of TikTok sample orders, so it happens pretty often. I'm sorry about that. It scares her every time. Anyway, research the pitcher method if you're going to be exclusively pumping. I would recommend that. Like I said, I never was an exclusive pumper, so I didn't really do that. Okay. What else? We're almost done. I don't know what else I was going to say. I think that's pretty much everything. I nurse her on demand now, which is about every 2 to 3 hours. Even through the night, ma'am. Even through the night. We're going through a sleep regression and it has been rough, friends. I nurse her on demand. I make sure that I nurse on both sides each feed because I've had mastitis twice because I wasn't doing that. So I nurse on both sides each feed, and then I switch sides that I start on each feed. So that's working for us. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. That is all I have for pumping and breastfeeding, hacks, tips and tricks, all of it. Let me know if you have any questions, more specific questions, or if you want me to do another type of video like this. Let me know. I'll do the best I can. I want you guys to have, if you're watching this, I want you to have a successful experience. But it is hard. I wish I had a video like this that just told me everything. I don't know that I would have listened because I'm a little, I don't always follow directions well. But these were the things that helped me. We are successfully 4 months into our breastfeeding journey. She's never had formula, which I am very proud of. And she's healthy and chunky and perfect. And that's all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. It means the world to me. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It helps me out. We are trying to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm currently a stay-at-home mom for probably the next couple of months, and then I'm gonna have to work unless I can make it on here. So help me out, help her out, and we appreciate it. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one.